Hello everyone and welcome back to the last summary session for our HP UFT QTP live project, and I wanted to give you a quick round up of what we have done, what has that done to you, how have you learned, and what you're going to do next with the expertise and so on. So I'm going to quickly put them as bullet points and we'll talk about it. So summary of what we did in the project, that's first. Second, how did it help each of us in our skill? Third, what should we, how can we take advantage of this project building I wouldn't say super, but building a resume that is very powerful to get you the calls, and then that's one. How to present yourself during the interviews. Alright, so this is what we're going to be doing here. Now, what we have done so far, let's talk about that in this project. So what we've built is a very highly advanced automation framework that is script and application independent. Okay. So you have built a framework which can be easily implemented for any project with minimal modifications. And we will talk about the fact that you can maintain, run, and view automation tests without any programming skill. This framework uses extensive effort on the non-programming side. It is highly efficient, can be reused for multiple regression release testing, and also has a very detailed error reporting. This is what we have on this framework. Now, to explain about this framework of what you did, okay, you can say that primarily the workflow of this framework, how does it work, right? So here you can talk about the points like number one, detailed test cases and corresponding test steps are entered in a predefined fashion in a simple Excel file. Okay. Additionally, we have grouped together frequent reusable application test steps into a set of automation steps. Okay, we have provided with an object map that helps to store and identify all the objects from the application in a easy to understand and build template. Similarly, we have also created a test data set that is used to run the automation suite on multiple test cases. User can choose to run the test on one, few, or all test data. This makes the framework a data-driven framework. 2. Everyone with me what I'm trying to write? I'm saying what is the workflow of this framework and how it works, okay? All the detail, the test cases, the test steps are associated with the object map, the test data, and a reusable app. We were talking about reusable application, app test step, or a keyword that calls the corresponding automation step on the application with by having the relevant information. Now, you can write this as part of the framework as a project overview of what it does. By combining to the keyword and data-driven framework, we have created a very powerful hybrid framework using HP QTP HP UFT-12, VBScript, and advanced and descriptive programming. Okay. This framework also has an error dashboard in a HTML format and detailed Excel report on test run and alerts that get sent via email depending on predefined triggers. Now, what happens, team, is when you create a profile and you write all of this information, there are two things that are happening, team. You want your resume to be found. That is the first thing, team. How do you make resume to be found? Yes, you have to put it on many job boards. That is right. There's no question about it. Also, you have to provide the right keywords so that the consultant / client finds your resume when they run a search. Okay. So, for example, if you talk about automation framework, VBScript, descriptive programming a few times in your resume, automatically the amount of from a search standpoint, it goes higher, that okay, this profile seems to be having relevant experience in this. So if a client goes and searches for automation engineer with automation, okay, QTP automation engineer, VB scripting, descriptive programming, these are the keywords that they'll put. Probably they'll add a framework to it. So first you want the resume to be found. Then you want the resume to be read. You want someone to read it. It should be good enough that someone is very interested to see the resume, what you have done, how you have done, and should show that okay, very good, this is how it is. That's why your content should be very rich. Content on the resume must be rich and have relevant skill sets. Okay, and we will come to that in a second. Resume should lead to a call / email contact. Either way, they have to be able to contact. Once they contact you, then you can speak very animatedly about the project that you've done with the same zeal that you use in the presentations. Right now, let's talk about how it has helped each of us in our skill. Number one, significant hands-on. So you have done it by yourself. Okay, so you did have support, you did have the training videos access, but you're the one who's working along with the other team members, and you've come up with this entire automation framework all by yourself, and that is a phenomenal achievement, team. Okay, you have spent a lot of hours and efforts in this project. This is something that you have to remember. All right, you have worked in a team environment, in a distributed team environment, I'll say. So you all have been part of specific teams, distributed, and you started to work with other team members in different environments, and you have learned to coordinate and plan the project execution. How do we communicate? How do we work together? What timings we work? How do we send emails? How do we share documentations and documents and information? All of this information you have learned to share and contribute as part of the team. Okay, learn to coordinate and plan the project execution as part of the team. All right, used to have daily or rather regular team meetings, and you used to discuss / brainstorm on what needs to be done, correct? And you used to create extensive documentation. So not only were we creating documentation, scripts, libraries, functions, descriptive programming, different driver scripts, HTML report generators, and so many other things that you've used, .NET Factory, but you've also done extensive documentation that talks about your test plan, your test cases, how the report should come, creating the workflow charts and so on. Okay, documentation, workflows, okay, plans, reports, etc. The reason I'm putting all of this, team, is to give you that confidence that you have done this, and here now should be your major boost in confidence, because when we probably entered this project, you had skill, you had the knowledge, but how did you work in a team? How did you spend that effort in creating something on your own with little guidance from our side? That was a major boost in confidence. And you have been exposed through many challenges. And that is one of the biggest things. Okay, challenges where team members leave or on vacation. Okay, challenges where not equal effort by all members. Okay, sudden movements into team, change in requirements, okay, communication failures, schedule changes, um, then technical changes, and you have faced all the possible challenges that could happen, technical changes or challenges, technical issues that you faced in this project team, and that has given you that so much of exposure to handle such situations. Now, when you go into an interview and someone asks you, so what were the challenges that you faced in working on this automation project? And that's when you can talk about the real time challenges. Okay, so what this happens, team, is this is simulating a real work environment. These are the exact challenges that you and I we will face when we get into a project, into a work environment, and this keeps happening. Okay, suddenly we are in part of a team of 10 people. You will see that 2 or 3 people don't have the skill at all, but they're still part of it because they have to learn for the next project. And then you'll see 2 or 3 people are hardly interested in the project because they're also working on other multiple projects, or they're not motivated enough. Then you'll see someone else has suddenly gone on vacation, is out sick, or has resigned and moved to a new job. And from somewhere a new person comes halfway in the project and starts to get involved. Your project schedule changes. Everything that you've seen in this project has been something that we have been experiencing in real world, and that gives you a great set of learning, because then you are able to take it and talk about it. The doing this project, knowing what you've done is one thing, team, but being aware of all the things that you have really learned is very important. It's just not this technical aspects, how to build a framework and so on. We've really put you under pressure, and we have also been a very hard critic. So whenever from my end, especially whenever I see even the slightest mistakes that you do in documentation, spell errors, something is not neatly organized, there are no comments in the code, and everything is breaking out, I have immediately told you that, you know what, this is not right, this is not what I expect. The reason I've been such a hard critic and given you straight feedback is so that you understand that the world looks at it in that way. If we are ignorant to our own mistakes and assume that, oh, it's a small one, that's okay, it is not okay, team. It is absolutely not okay. The minute we try and give that leeway, saying that it is okay to be out of proper documentation, okay to be out of proper font usage, comments, anything, team, then we are no more quality people. If we are in the QA industry and we're quality, we have to focus on that content. Okay, it doesn't mean that we're all perfect. I make zillions of errors, zillions of mistakes, but at the same time, I constantly thrive to not make it happen. For example, even when I'm writing this document, I see suddenly there is a spell error somewhere, I change it. And if you see how I've organized everything as bullet points and so that it is easy for someone to read. What else can I do? Yes, I will go ahead and start highlighting stuff out here, okay, which is the key things. So those are the things that you really have to emphasize. And this project has taught you the um, detail the you on how to keep a solid eye for the details. All right, so when we have that vision and viewpoint, you will not let anything go and slip away. Okay, now how can we take advantage of this project? Number one, you should feel very proud, team, for the effort, hard work, challenges, and the fact that you completed a project successfully. Okay, you have also learned from other teams, learned from other team members, and learned from other teams. Since we had multiple teams, you've seen how we have learned from each other when others give presentations, when you give presentations, and so on. More than anything, till the presentations were the true deal maker rather for us. What do I mean? That you have given a mock interview through these presentations, and you have actually spoken about your projects, and you also heard others do the same. So when you gave a presentation and spoke about this is what we're doing in the project, this is how we have done, that is exactly what you're going to talk in an interview. When you get to an interview, the first question that any interview typically they ask is, okay, tell me something about this project. What is this project? What have you done? And then now that you've practiced it, you have seen it, you've spoken a few times, you also see other people having spoken about the projects, how we have done together. Now you can go and easily speak. And that shows your confidence, that shows your comfort level in doing this and how you have developed. And this framework was highly advanced, team. I'm not even sure how many of the projects which are currently on automation use such depth of frameworks. So what you have done is a very advanced output. Okay, hardly anyone with this set of skill set. I can't say hardly anyone. Rather, I'll say very small percentage of QTP/UFT population have this set. So what does that mean? You have to be creating a very powerful resume, and you have to talk very, very highly on it. Okay, so please make a loud resume. Okay, you have to create your LinkedIn profiles. Okay, ask your team members for reviews, and other team members also, to give you a review on your work over LinkedIn. Okay, you can also create Facebook and so on, but from a corporate standpoint or from a work standpoint, LinkedIn is still the super house for networking. All right, from a employee standpoint. Now you have to do these things, team. If you don't do it, then you're not really taking advantage. Okay, then make sure that you attend interviews even though it may not be in a location of your choice. I will tell you for two things, team. Not just to waste the time of someone in the resources, but with a true intent, and say that I'm looking to relocate. One, it will give you a lot of practice, an idea what others doing, and sometimes you may like that project, you may like the company, and then you'll start thinking, why don't I do a telecommute or just travel every week for about 5 months, 6 months? Give it a try. This could be a good thing on your resume, and whatever money you are earning probably will get used away for for traveling and so on, and expenses. But then at the end of the day, you've built a great project also. So try many interviews as you can, even if it's not in your location. Let us say you're someone who's living in New Jersey. Try for jobs even in Virginia, or look at jobs that may come up in Boston or Connecticut. Not necessarily that you'll move or you will travel, but just the fact that you can give it a try at least, right? And the same, I'm not saying that if you're in New York or so, try for something in the Bay Area and so on. That'll be too much of a kill to even get there. Okay. So make sure that you try and attend as many interviews as you can, and be a reference for your team members wherever needed. You can also provide our details for reference check, the email and so on, and we'll be glad to provide the reference to you. Okay. Also collect the project completion certificate from the team. So write to Manoj, write to learn at ITeLearn, and we'll be glad to provide you the certificate about the project completion, which you can keep it along with your achievements, and you can also mention that on your resume. All right. Now, when you're doing your resume, you have this as your project description. Okay. Workflow of this framework. also, also can be used as project description in resume. So team, if you have any questions, any suggestions, you can start to put them right now. I can start handling it right after this. That will be easy for us to wind up the session then. Please put them in the chat, team, to start with, and if time permits, I'll definitely unmute anyone who has further questions. So I put this now. Project description, when you talk about the points, right, you have to talk multiple times about everything. Okay, so used what's that, .NET Factory to enable to send email alerts on critical failures in HP UFT. Use .NET Factory in HP UFT, rather in HP UFT, to send critical failures. So what I'm saying is just an example, team. This is one point that you put as part of it. So here you will highlight .NET Factory and HP UFT. That is covered. Then we'll say entire code has been built using descriptive programming to enable implementation for any application. Okay, this is one specific one for descriptive programming. Now you will make sure that descriptive programming repeats multiple times. Okay, converted or no actions or checkpoints have been used. All verifications and validations have been built using VB scripting and descriptive programming only. See how quickly I have used 2 times descriptive programming now. That is what I'm trying to say, team. You have to put them as much as you can. And we are saying that we didn't use actions or checkpoints have been used. Why? It's good. Okay. Eliminated. Okay. Custom scripts have been written for the driver reusable function library. All right. The error reporting and all other components. No usage of any record or recording has been used. No, okay, did not use the recording feature.